Hi guys, it's Ellie here, and today I'm finally that was my phone going off, fuck you phone. I'm finally bringing you my week 6 battle against Dave, otherwise known as Shroomraver. He is a really good friend of mine, so please make sure to go down in the description below and check out his links, as well as everyone else's links in the PPL. They're all down there in the description. But I really do implore you to check out Dave. He's a wonderful guy and a very close friend of mine. So, yeah, we have a bit of a rivalry between us. Season 1 of the PPL, the very first season, I kind of destroyed his team with an HB Electric Heatran. And he's still not over it to this day. So, I'm sure that this match he is seeking revenge. I'm going to put up the teams now. Ta-da! As you can see, he has a Mamoswine and a Terrakion, and I can't really deal with that very well. So basically I'm forced to bring defensive Poliwrath this week. But yeah, he's got the likes of a Mandibuzz, a Zapdos, a Mawile, a Necrozma, an Araquanid, Tangler, Mawile, Zangoose, and some other stuff. This is just from the top of my head, I'm not actually looking at his team, but as you can see there are things up there. And yeah, so I have brought a Clefable, a Roserade, a Poliwrath, Tyranitar, Alakazam, and a Excadrill. Clefable is fully physically defensive to deal with... it's fully specially defensive, to deal with Zapdos. I cannot be dealing with that, I cannot be bothered. Also to deal with Necrozma as well. I had to bring Magic Guard on it this week because I know Dave's going to be like... probably bringing Toxic on either Necrozma or the Zapdos or the Mandibuzz. And he knows I like to bring Unaware as well, so he's most likely going to be bringing Toxic for it. He knows I like running Unaware, and he may bring it. He may think I'm bringing Unaware because he's got a set up Necrozma and things like Swords Dance Zangoose, so yeah. It's got Rocks, Soft Boiled, Moonblast, and Heal Bell, pretty standard stuff. Then I've got a Fairium Z Roserade. This was brought for Mandibuzz, which as you can see he didn't bring. Very selfish of him. So I've got Giga Drain, Leaf Storm, HB Rock on there for Zapdos and Mandibuzz as well. And then, yeah, Dazzle and Gleam with the Fairium Z. So that's cool. Then I have a fully physically defensive Zapdos, which was brought for Mamoswine and Terrakion, one of which he did bring, and also, to an extent, the Mawile and the Araquanid. Really helps wall the Araquanid really well. My phone's going off, so I'm just going to throw it to the other side of the room and pretend it doesn't exist. You're just going to have to ignore that. I'm bringing Seismic Toss in case he wants to bring like a sub-set on Mawile or a sub-toxic set on, not Toxapex, the Araquanid. Scored on there for burns and damage, and then Rest Talk because Rest Talk is good. Unfortunately, Poliwrath doesn't have any reliable recovery, otherwise it'd be really good, so I have to run Rest Talk on there, which is kind of unfortunate, but never mind. Then I have a Rock Polish Tyranitar with enough speed to outspeed Scarf Terrakion at +2. Aqua Tail, Crunch, and Stone Edge on there. Aqua Tail is for the Mamoswine and the Terrakion as Stone Edge don't kill them. And also Stone Edge for respective stabs for Birds and Necrozma. And Rock Polish on there for potentially a late game sweep. Next up we have an odd set on my Alakazam this week. I'm bringing Trick Sticky Barb for the likes of an annoying Necrozma set, and Mandibuzz, or a Araquanid. Either of those are just fine with me. Sticky Barb is on there to basically wear down any of his bulky mons that he does bring this week. I really felt it was gonna basically do a lot and help me wear down the Mandibuzz, especially if I get some kind of status off on it, like a Scald Burn. Then I have Charge Beam, Psychic, and that's it, I think. It might have been Shadow Ball over Charge Beam actually, because I can't quite remember, but I'll probably put like screenshots of my team up as I'm speaking, so yay for editing. Good job me! And then last but not least, we have the Air Balloon Excadrill with Rapid Spin, Earthquake, Rock Slide, And something else, which I can't quite remember. Iron Head, of course, duh. Air Balloon on there in case it's late game and Mamoswine is kind of fucking me up and I don't really have an answer to it. If the sand isn't up. I do have enough speed to outspeed Jolly Mamoswine outside of sand. However, if he is scarfed, I can't, you know, I need the Air Balloon on there just in case he's locked into Earthquake or something like that late game. I've got Rapid Spin on there because Poliwrath and Clefable and Roserade kind of don't really like getting rocks. I need them as healthy as possible, basically, to wall what they do effectively. But yeah, that is my team. Hopefully Alakazam is going to do stuff this week. I'm excited. As you can see, he's brought the Necrozma, Araquanid, Mawile, Mamoswine, a Zangoose, which I'm shit scared of, and a Zapdos. Please note, I have no switch-ins to a Zangoose. So every time Dave brings it in this game, something will die. It two-hit KOs my entire fucking team, which is incredible. So yeah, not a fun time for me. That being said, let's get into battle and see how it plays out. Okay, so that is Dave in his fedora, milady, or Dave. He's going to issue the challenge as I lead with my Clefable. I want to get up rocks this game. They are going to be so important. His Defogger is Zapdos, and it will get, you know, the more damage I get on the Zapdos and wear it down, the better. He's going to stay in and reveal Flash Cannon first turn, which is going to do a hefty chunk. He's going to do about a third, sorry, as I go for my rocks, which is absolutely a-okay. I'm going to get my lefties back, and yeah, so next turn I'm kind of forced to soft-boiled here, so he's going to reveal the Earthquake, predicting me to go into Excadrill, which is fine. Now I have the information that he's a mix set, which is no bueno basically, as I go for the soft-boiled and get up to basically full after lefties, after you will see in a momento. And yeah, so we're sitting healthy, we've got our rocks up, and that's great. So I'm going to opt to go for the Moonblast here, as he overpredicts here and goes for the Earthquake. I go for the Moonblast here to kind of gauge what set this Necrozma is, if he's an Assault Vest set or if he's leftovers. As you can see, I'm going to go for the Moonblast here, and we see that it does a reasonable amount of damage, and my calculations show that he is not an Assault Vest. I'm thinking, oh shit, this guy's a Z-move user. I need to switch out, because I'm now in range of a Corkscrew Crash. And if he goes for it this turn, my Clefable's kind of dead. And guess what? That's a Z-move animation, and then I go into panic mode, thinking, oh shit, this is going to be what happened against Kyle, isn't it? This is going to be like the Psychic move. It's not going to be the Steelian one, is it? It's going to be the fucking Psychic one, and things just, nope. It was the Steel move. I did predict that right, which I am super glad about. And Poliwrath is going to take this like a fucking champ. So luckily I clocked onto the fact that it was his Z Crystal user this week, and I'm so glad that I switched out, because Clefable is so important in this match. So there's his Z move gone. I'm just going to go for Scald, because if he goes for the Psychic, he's not going for Psychic, because I think he's going to go for Earthquake, predicting me to go into Tyranitar. And I do get the prediction right. I go for the cheeky Scald. I could live a Psychic as well, I think, maybe, possibly, probably not. I'm probably lying. And now I'm going to predict him to go for the Psychic. I'm going to be really cheeky and think he's not going to double Earthquake. He needs to get rid of this thing to get so his Araquanid can do things and basically be very annoying to my team. And he is going to go for the Morning Sun here, which is interesting. I really thought he'd go for the Psychic move, but Morning Sun also works out for me, as it doesn't quite do as much recovery, because obviously it's weather dependent. So Sand is going to basically not let him recover that much. I'm going to opt to go for the Crunch. I do outspeed the Necrozma because of my speed investment, and he's going to go for the Earthquake. He's going to pop my Shocker Berry, which I failed to mention in the little brief update, but you saw all the screenshots anyway, so it's fine. Shocker Berry, EQ is not going to do a fucking thing to me, and he's going to get buffeted by the Sandstorm. And I'm going to go for Rock Polish this turn, because I calc it, and Earthquake does not kill me, not even a little bit. As he's going to go for the EQ, and he will die to Sands this turn. My thinking here was, if I go for the +2, he can't go into Mamoswine and click Earthquake if he's scarfed. He can't spam Earthquake, he's forced to Ice Shard. and otherwise he'd have to go into something else like Charty Berry Zapdos or Charty Berry Araquanid. I'm not quite sure, but he does go into Mamoswine and clicks the Ice Shard exactly how I wanted to play out. As I am going to go for the Aqua Tail. Ice Shard not quite taking me out, and I'm going to return this back with a Jolly Aqua Tail, which doesn't quite kill the Mamoswine. Now I'm thinking here, he's going to go for another Ice Shard. I can save this Tyranitar for later on in the game. I need it for the sand, especially if this is Choice Scarf. And he does go for the other safe Ice Shard, which he's pretty much forced to do. As I go safely into my Poliwrath, going to get some lefties back. The sand is going to subside, which is great. He's not going to be worn down. And by he, I mean Poliwrath. Franku, what a fucking lord. He's going to preserve this for later on in the match, which is great. As he's going to go into Araquanid, predictably schooled. But I do in fact go for the Seismic Toss because of said Araquanid in the back. I don't want this around because it's very annoying. It basically stops my Clefable, and I want to get rid of it because it's stupid fucking annoying. So basically I just stay in here and go for Seismic Tosses. I have a really dry mouth right now because I don't know what hydration is and I don't drink enough water. Yay. He's going to reveal Toxic, which is mildly annoying, but not the end of the world because I do have Rest. However, if he is Water Absorb / Water Bubble, Scald is going to be doing fucking nothing if I do pull it on the Sleep Talk. But that, yeah, irrelevant. So, I'm going to be slowly worn down to Toxic, so Poliwrath is kind of on a timer, but not really because I have Rest. As he's going to reveal the Protect, which is kind of like, really, Dave? Really? Yeah, they're going to be that guy, but obviously this was built to deal with my Poliwrath, which is respectable. So, it's working out for him, it's doing good stuff. And Araquanid's back at a decent amount of health. He needs to get rid of these rocks as soon as he can. So he's going to make the offensive switch here into his Zapdos, which is fine. I stay in and go for another Seismic Toss. If he did opt out to go into his Zapdos, I can just go straight out to my Clefable and basically deal with it that way. Excuse me, I burped. Seismic Toss's animation is really cool, by the way. Frank is slowly getting worn down by Toxic, so I'm going to switch out the Stern. Jesus Christ, I'm burping again. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm going to switch out here because I don't want to take a Volt Switch, and if he roosts, then it's a free switch into Clefable, which is even better. So here's the Clef, as he does go for the Roost, which is fine. He now either defogs or Volt Switches. Either way, Clefable doesn't really give a shit, which is cool. So I'm at a reasonable amount of health, and I just click Moonblast here because I don't really need to Soft Boiled because this thing can't really touch me if it does stay in and go for Thunderbolt. But he does go for the safe Volt Switch and get straight out into his Mawile. Now, as you can see, on this upcoming Moonblast, I wish I had Fire Blast here, damn. On the upcoming Moonblast, this does a reasonable chunk of damage, which leads me to believe, oh fuck, this is an offensive Mawile. I don't really have much for this. As you can see, he wasn't Intimidate either, so he's definitely not in a defensive investment. Defensive variant. So I'm going to opt to go into my Excadrill here as he goes for the Iron Head. I'm gonna take that relatively well. My Air Balloon's gonna pop, which isn't great, but he sacks off his guy Araquanid here. I do go for the Rock Slide in case he wanted to be cheeky and go into his Zapdos. So I'm gonna go for the Rock Slide. Excadrill's gonna get a kill, and yeah, cool. That crit obviously did not matter. Can I just say how hack-free this game has been? Fucking A. Fucking A. And here comes the Zangoose. Now we're in trouble, boys, because as I mentioned earlier, I have nothing. Absolutely nothing. So at this point, I'm picking fodder. Here comes the Poliwrath, and he's going to go for the close combat, which is fine. Not going to kill me, but we are going to die the upcoming turn. As we get lefties back, which are irrelevant, and then we get poisoned, which again is irrelevant because we die next turn anyway to his upcoming Facade. I'm going to yawn because I've had a long day at work. I'm sorry. Please do forgive me. As he's going to go for the facade, which is absolutely fine. And now Franku has died. I'm very sorry, Frank. Thank you for doing things this week. It did what it needed to do. It dealt with the Araquanid, and the Araquanid is now dead, so it's the most expendable thing. And here is the Alakazam! Now, every time he brings in Zangoose, something dies. Every time I bring in Alakazam, something dies. So it's going to be this game, basically. He sacks off his Mamoswine, which is great because now it's one less worry for me if it was Scarfed. And now he goes into Zapdos. He thinks that my Alakazam is Scarfed, is Focus Sash, sorry. So he is going to opt to try and break that. But of course, I'm going to switch out. I'm not Focus Sash, but I do want to be as healthy as possible so I can live a quick attack from Zangoose later on in the game. So he's going to go for Volt Switch, go out into his Zangoose. Not good. Something dies here, doesn't it? So he's going to go out into Zangoose, and at this point Clefable is not doing much else. It's got up its rocks, it's got damage on the Mawile, which is great, and it stopped Zapdos to an extent. When it comes back in after rocks, it'll be pretty much at 50%, so at a roll from Alakazam and such and things, and yes. So Malignant is going to go down. She put in a good shift this week. Thank you, Clefable, for doing stuff. Rocks are super important, and Clefable got a kill, obviously, from Mamoswine going down to said rocks. And here is Alakazam again, because best revenge killer in the game. Don't fucking at me. And I'm going to go for Psychic, because it's going to 2-hit KO anything that wants to come in. Even the Mawile. So I click Psychic here, and it is going to do a considerable chunk to the specially defensive or specially bulky Zapdos. And as you can see, it is in range, obviously, for another one to take it out. It's not going to outspeed me because it, obviously, it has HP investment. So, yeah. That was my computer chair making a noise. I hope you enjoyed that. And here is a Mawile, and I'm thinking, this guy's got a Sucker Punch, so I'm going to switch out. I don't want him to break my sash. So I'm going to switch out, sack my T-Tar, and get up the sand. As he is going to go for Iron Head. At the end of the game, he actually told me that this Mawile was Scarfed. So my Alakazam would have been dead anyway had I stayed in and clicked Psychic. Which was cool. And now we go into Excadrill. He, at this point, only has Mawile and Zangoose left. I click Earthquake both times because that is my play. He's not Shocker Berry, which I was kind of worried about, but it wouldn't have lived at that range anyway, so I don't know why I was worried about it. Ellie, you're very silly. And Mawile goes down, and in comes the only thing he has left. It's Zangoose against the world, as I'm just going to click EQ. Obviously, his only play there was to click Close Combat in the hopes I did something silly like misclick or go for the disrespectful Rapid Spin. I don't know. But yeah, Excadrill getting 3 kills this game, and we beat Dave in a 3-0 victory, which I am super happy about. And I'm also very, very happy to say that that was a hacks-free battle, because Dave is renowned for not having the best of luck. So I'm really happy it was a clean match, and it was just a really good game. I'm pretty sad that Roserade didn't do anything this week, and I'm sad Alakazam didn't do more. But I'm really happy with how the whole Tyranitar thing worked out. But yeah, oh god, it's going to start replaying. No, don't do that. What are you doing? It's just going to be paused on Dave's face now. I don't know, actually. I may be editing things, so you might not actually see what I'm talking about here. But if Dave's on the face, wow man, nice fedora. Dave's on the face, yep, that's words. But yeah, I'm relatively happy with how I played this week, especially with at the beginning as well. Maybe a bit questionable staying in, like going into Poliwrath and staying in with Poliwrath on a Necrozma, but I made the right call at the right time, and it worked out for me. I shouldn't have been so reckless, but I'm a fucking wizard. What can I say? Next week we're playing Slyro. Coach of the Live Whirlpool FC. He's replaced Richie 15,000, aka Babylai, aka Horseman, who unfortunately had to leave the PPL due to some reasons and things and stuff. But Sly is back in the PPL, which is always a nice thing. And we'll be battling him, I think, for the first time. No, we played him in Season 1. Holy shit, that was the game I choked with Scarf Togekiss when I clicked Trick instead of Air Slash, because I'm dumb. Let's hope I don't repeat that this next week. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go now because I'm rambling. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you next week. And the Q&A will be up sometime soon, hopefully, if I'm not lazy or busy. But yes, goodbye!